Hello everyone, I'm Havoc and this is Factorio Space Exploration Plus. I'm joining you once again where we were working on our stone processing area, and we've made a few changes. So if I go to the map, you're probably going to immediately notice this and go, what's that down there? So let's go take a look. I decided that I wanted to go ahead and get this set up before I started building because I did have to move our setup. You probably noticed it's a little bit different than where we left off last episode, and that's because I had to shift and move things around. And the reason being is I want to have this main, almost like a, an artery or whatnot, this main channel where our rail and our bot network and vision is going to spread from. So I created these little blueprints to look, decent, little, not just RoboPort slapped around a substation. I wanted it to look kind of odd, and especially look neat on the map, and I think I've achieved my goals there. These ones where it looks like it's missing one, that's where our radar goes. So I just drop a radar every so often to maintain vision up and down this. And I also, let's get out of the map view here. I added walls so that we can't just walk onto our rail area because it's going to become dangerous as we put more trains on here. And I've added in these little lovely bits here, which are crossways. So if I come and approach this, you'll see that the walls all come down for the walkway. So I can pass through this without any issues. And if you notice, right here, this wall comes up and it also puts a rail signal into blocked. So a train will come up and stop right here instead of just plowing through me while I'm trying to go through the intersection. And then when I'm not there, the trains can just go through like they need to. And I have been working on setting up this and expanding our, what will be the final rail setup back towards our temporary base. I almost said the final factory, but the temporary base back here. And as we are changing things up and moving production lines, we will continue to expand this down this way. Also, our uranium obviously ran out down here where we put our stone processing, and so I started mining. I haven't started processing, but I started mining a bunch of uranium from these really big patches that I had to the right of the factory, and they have filled up complete warehouses already, so that's good. When we get to processing that, there'll be plenty to go there. But for today's episode, I want to finalize where everything's going to go over here. And I'm looking at, I want stone bricks now. I want to get stone bricks being smelted probably maybe right here along this line. If we can achieve that, I don't know if it'll fit in there. And like I said before, the difference between stone bricks and regular plates is that stone bricks require 2 stone brick to make one, 2 stone to make 1 brick. Whereas something like the copper plate only takes 1 copper ore to make 1 copper plate plus the productivity. So if I'm going to get a full blue belts out, I have to input 2 full blue belts of stone in. A little bit less because of productivity, but I'll be putting 2 full blue belts in regardless. So I'm thinking that rather than doing this split like we do, we're just going to bring 2 full blue belts in on either side of this blueprint. So let's go ahead and snag a little section like this and get rid of that. And then we will change the recipe to be what we want it to be. But these are going to be stone brick input lines. And I'm looking at trying to make sure it's somewhat lined up with our other production lines. And we can't make it exactly right. Looks like I'm probably just going to go with that right there, because these are not the same size as our pulverizers, so the pulverizers will be a little bit different than the smelting lines. But we're going to be bringing in 2 full trains worth, so that's 4, that's 8. 8 blue belts of output are going to come right over here. And of those 8 blue belts of output, we're going to have 1, 2. So that means I need 4 of these smelting lines in order to achieve what I want to achieve. And I put that blueprint down somewhere. So we're going to do, that's 2, that's 3, and that is 4. And then we'll change those to be stone smelting here momentarily. But while we're waiting on that, I can set up the offloading that will come up instead of going down. And it's really simple. To begin with, it's going to be the same as this minus these little bits. And that gives us the belts. And now we're just going to turn these and go up. And I can do this out of ghosted blueprints. There's no need to use all of what's in my inventory to do so. And then we're not going to be doing the 4 to 4. We're going to be doing an 8 to 8 balancer up here. So I need to figure out what's a good spot for that to go into. It's going to be on the other side of our train line because we obviously don't have the space on this side of the train line. And let's see, I want the underground belts to come out just the other side of the rail, so I don't need those. And that's because I didn't leave a whole lot of space here between where we start with these, where these come out, and where we are going to be starting our first input line. So now, do I even have room for 8 to 8 balancer in here? Let's see. We go all the way to an 8 to 8 balancer. If I put it right here, I can fit it in no problem. So that's what we're going to do. Just get this all set up. Every now and then I forget to hold shift. But I have a lot of material sitting back at base. I just need my bots to bring them over here. And that's why you probably saw I expanded a whole lot of roboports and some radars out in this direction. And mainly because I had to cut and paste. I mean, you see this isn't connected right here anymore. I had to cut and paste this and move it, not once, but twice. The entire setup down here, all these machines and everything, all the rails, I had to move it twice in order to get it just where I wanted it to be, so that I would have room to come down here with a walkway and with our RoboPort highway down here. And then as we build, you'll also notice I'm incorporating RoboPorts all over the place, just in case we have some kind of disaster. Heaven forbid something, you know, our meteors don't protect us, or we run out of power, or something strange happens and a lot of the base gets damaged. I want my RoboPorts to be all over the place so my robots can just go repair or replace anything anywhere in the base. It's going to be a very large RoboPort network, but we're going to be increasing the robot speeds so it won't be that big of an issue. But now that we have this over here, we can start working on changing these lines. So I'm trying to match up with this somewhat, and actually if I really wanted to, I need to come all the way in to here with the first one, and then the rest of them will branch out. Yes, you don't like, oh, I'm placing the wrong direction. Don't mind me. But this is going to just bring in all of the stone we need to feed these stone smelters, and that'll make us a lot of stone brick. I am just having issues with placing these ghosted prints right now. This is also different than how I usually build. What I usually do is simply carry a bunch of stuff in my inventory and have my own personal bots place everything and then request more items to be brought to me from my network. But the way I'm doing it now, like I said, I've been trying to do different things, learn different ways of building with Factorio, different ways of processing things. You know, try stuff differently and see what I like and what I might not like and make adjustments from there. But this makes it where as long as I have a little bit of belt in my inventory, I can be constantly placing down the ghost prints and just let them come at their leisure to place that item down for me, and I can in the meantime continue working on my design knowing that they're going to come do that for me. The robots in this game are absolutely amazing. I really enjoy playing Satisfactory as well. It's an, you know, everyone said it would be like a 3D Factorio. No, it's its own game. It's quite different. It's very same style, automation and factory building, but it's very different. And one very big complaint I have about that game is there's no robots. Where are my robots at? I've been spoiled by Factorio with my glorious robots, and then that game just doesn't have robots. I mean, you could consider the like the trucks that you automate to be kind of like robots, but I don't. Just me personally. Also, I think I wanted to maintain a walkway that comes up through here. Can I do that? I'll have to move it, and that's okay. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's plenty. We are just going to do this right here, and we'll shift the walkway over when we bring it up here. I do like the aesthetics of having pathways in and around things, even though we all know I have a jetpack. I can fly right over everything incredibly fast. It's not a big deal. But say I were to accidentally die and I don't have a jetpack or something, I can then use these walkways. Or if anyone wants to maybe I'll do like a map download one day and someone will want to get on and play around and explore, or do like a world tour of this map when I get more of it done, then they may want to use the walkways. So who knows? We'll see. But I also like the way it looks on the map. It adds a good aesthetic feel to everything. But that right there should give us full blue belts of stone brick out. So we have 4 full blue belts of stone brick, more sand than you could ever ask for or want, and then 4 blue belts of glass. All of the different stone processing types coming from this one little area. And we have the input set up where they come in, they'll be dropping off the stone. The processing, what we need to work on now is how are we going to pick these things up. And this is really simple. We've got this really big area here. I want to change our setup how we've been doing this. I've been building it kind of horizontally, left to right, with my stacker and then all my loading. Whereas right here, I can do this much easier by simply having the trains come in, go to a stacker, and then continue down to loading areas and go back out and do this one vertically. So that's what we're going to work on, and also that's going to require me to move this right here, our little junction where it comes out. And we're going to try and come right up above where our final processing right here is. I want the lines to come in right along here. So we need to look at how we're going to do that. How will this fit in right over here? And this is what I want. I want the 4 to 2. I've got to pick up these signals here that are blocking things and our power poles. I want to leave this one. This one's important for spacing on our little RoboPort highway. I'm spacing them out at the full length of a big power pole. So I can't really move this one. I need to build things around it. And I also need to make sure that we are going above this area right here. So we're going to look at this. So this one will be empty. Right here is going to be a bunch of RoboPort stuff. So I don't want to go right along here. I want to go right along this one. So we're actually going to need to tear all of this up. We can actually just tell it to grab all of that, and then I will have to come in and hand pick up, or you know what, just rip it all up. I'll replace that correctly in just a moment. So I need to come out right here with this, and that works. Like, I couldn't have planned that better. Look at that. It lines up perfectly with this these big electric poles in the rail blueprint. That's crazy. I couldn't have planned that if I had tried. It would not have worked, I promise you. But we ended up getting it to come out exactly where we wanted. Now the question is that right dead where we want it? It'll come in above our smeltery but below the coal, so we can come across here and then do our loading area. I do need to go ahead and fix this, otherwise our trains won't be able to go where they need to go. The only ones that are going up here right now are nothing because we've cut power to that somewhere. That may be this power that's cut, but I want to have extra lines of power. I don't want one single circuit to be able to cut and put big chunks of my base out of power. That's not a good design. That's poor design, because I'm constantly making changes to the base. If I pick up one power pole and half the base runs out of power, then we're doing something terribly wrong and need to reconcile that quickly. Alright. Now we can come back over here and go to these. That's not the blueprint I want. I made a longer, too wide one. Here we go. This is the blueprint that I want. That gets me much further, and then I can decide how I want this to work. This branch right here, we're going to place a 2 into 2. And no way in which I do this will it fall out just right. Also, my blueprint's wrong right there. I should really fix that. Okay. Whoops. Going crazy moving around over here. Now, 1, 2, we can change this up. I need to make it over to right here. And that won't look too bad. It's going to look a little goofy, but that's alright. I won't sweat it too bad if you guys won't. And that was one too far. And with that, we have, when this is built, we'll be able to deliver stone here and bring it back out. So I want to continue pushing forward. Now, which blueprint? I need to edit that blueprint that has the power pole in a wrong spot before I keep building a bunch and then get aggravated with the fact that it's not right. So if I place this down, there's only one power pole that's out of place, and it is the third from the right. And what is it? It's shifted to the left by 1. So I want to place this down. Go in here. This power pole is the one that's messed up. You are shifted to the left by 1. So if I do that and then come in, where's the blueprint at? That's in the rail book. This book, this blueprint, and then say make a new copy. Now if I come back over here, it should line up perfectly. Nope, I shifted it to the right. I'm a goofball. That's okay. We'll get it right eventually. It needs to be there. Does that look more right? Let's see. This is really important to do before I do a bunch more building. Yes, now we're lining up. We did it correctly. You're good to go. So I can use that blueprint now. Just put it down right like so and expand us out to here. And then we can figure out how we're going to do our train stacker and loading area. So I'm gonna have to move our roboports here. And this is our inbound line from the right, and that's really nice. That'll work just fine. So we can build a stacker out from this. I want to leave room for belts over here. How much room do I think I'm going to need is the question. I've got 4. This is what, 16? That's a lot. Let's come out from this point here, which is our output, and use red belt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Right? That's 16 and then 8 and 8. That'll give me enough room to route these belts, and I want a little bit of room on either side. So let's say I add 4 either side. That means I need to do 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 32. That's how much space I'm going to need between these lines and where I build the stacker over here. So we are going to make sure that we come in like so. And then we're going to do the stacker off of this. And so all of this needs to move right now. I don't want it gone completely. I want to have some roboports over here. So what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and place some roboports manually before I end up with the inability to use bots effectively in this area, because I'm going to be building a lot with them. And now we're looking at a radar needs to be somewhere up here. I don't want it to look ugly though. I want it to look like it was meant to be placed there. So let's do something like that. Actually, because I'm going to put the substation down there. We will put a roboport on one side and a radar on the other. And make it look nice, but that maintains us having vision in this area, because I'm about to get rid of these items. Now, I want to come off of this point and immediately go into a diagonal stacker. And I need to know how big this has to be. I wonder, can I have a blueprint, please? Gotta click the button 3 times. Can I do something like this? Right, because that's incoming. Oh, I most certainly can. That's perfect. Yeah, but I still have the issues with these being in the way. So I'm just going to steal that stacker from over there, and that should be right? This is inbound, and then this is outbound, and it should fit. I've already done the work before. Why do it all over again? Hey, that's 9 there. How many am I going to want is the question. This is a lot of output lines. This is going to be one train. One train will be coming in constantly and loading with stone bricks. This will be one train, so that's just 2 trains. And you're probably going to want a couple of extras. This, however, is 4 trains worth of sand output. I'm definitely not going to be utilizing all of that. I'm going to tell you right now to begin with, we're probably going to only be using 1 of these, maybe 2. But I'm definitely going to want more than 9 in my stacker. So if I add, this is 9, this is 10, 11, and that's 12. That's what we're going to do. I just wanted to pick that one up. It's the troubles that I have. Yes, the RoboPort Mark III is in the way. I will fix that for you. Don't you worry. Let's go ahead and move those. This gives us 12. 12 trains is more than enough. That'll do good for us. Now we're going to need to take these out of the picture and out of the way so that I can set up a loading yard. And how am I going to do that exactly? Because right now, all the loading yards I have, the trains come in from the bottom. I want to turn this around, but I also need to flip it. So it looks like we're just going to have to take a cut section of it, something along the lines of this, and then remove all of the curved bits, because that's not the way that the new setup's going to curve. And I don't need all of these extra robo ports or the extra big power pole, and I don't want any belts in here whatsoever. So let's get rid of all of the belt types and the chest. No. We definitely need the requester chest. What I don't need are the steel chest here. And I can change around how the stack inserters work, so we will leave them in the blueprint for now. So this is how it's been working. We need to flip it around, so press R, and now we can set this down. What's going on with these? What's taking so long for you guys to come pick them up? I'll just move them for you, my robots. And we're going to clear out a little bit of space and put these robots down right over here. Okay. So now the question is, do I conserve space by looping this back in this direction and then turning it back out to go in line with this? It'll look better to me on the map, I'm thinking, if I do it like this. That way it's in line with our little design here. The only thing I want to do though is make sure that I have curves So this will be the, you can go through without stopping at a train stop. And then where's that blueprint that I grabbed of just the rails? So I want to maintain the spacing, and that looked like, is that it? Or did I just misplace that one? No, that is the spacing. It's perfect. And then I need to make sure that I can make the curve into here before I place any more down. No, so we can't do that. But I can probably do something in the lines of this. Yes. This one right here is a custom one. It's a little different from the rest. Hopefully that doesn't bother me too bad when I look at the map. If I do that, I need this is going to end up taking a lot of extra space. That's okay. It's going to look its own special little way compared to the others. Not enough rail. Hey, can I do this as a ghost print? See, this is the trouble that I have with the ghost printing. Just getting it to go the way I just want it to go. There we go. And we're only going, how many trains are we going to have here? We're going to need quite a few. So this is the straight through. You go through and you just leave line. Then I'm going to have probably glass showing up right here. Stone brick, the very next one. And then sand. And I have enough for 4 trains worth of sand. So I probably need to go ahead and set up all 4 lines where the sand will be. Eventually, we won't be using all of them just yet. But we can have them set up so that they're there. And I just place like that and like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 sand, 1 stone brick, 1 glass. It's perfect. Now the question is, can I curve this rail and make it out of here? Yes. Without running into my little walkway area. Excuse me. Okay. And then we just need to take this back around and out, and I also need to include the through line. What the through line is for is in case you have a train waiting in your stacker back there, and then you decide, I want that train to go do something else, and maybe you have a train at every stop waiting to load, and you don't want it to wait for these to load and then move out of the way. You want it to be able to just go around them. That's what this through line is for. Just go around and leave. There's no need to wait on all these trains that may or may not be loading at this time. And then I want this to curve immediately as soon as it can back up, and we're gonna go out from here, and I want this to come back in line with this over here. So we want to place down a big power pole like we would normally, place down a rail like we would normally, and then watch this as it freaks out over here. Trying to make it line up. There we go. Can I? The struggles. There, if I just do that. This. There. It's hard getting that to do exactly what I want it to do. And then all I'm going to do is make this come up here and match up with our line right over here. It's beautiful. And with that done, All I've got to do is set up the stops, set up the routing for the belt from the output of each of those lines, and we have the ability to process stone into all the different ingredients it makes at a super high rate now, instead of our little tiny setup we have right over here. I don't even know how much this is making. I know it doesn't make full blue belt output when I'm consuming all of it. I'm thinking it's making just a little bit over a full red belt out, but I have blue belts here just for the speed. And then sand, I'm barely getting a couple of blue belts worth out now, and then glass, I have one blue belt worth when you combine these two reds together. So we're about to significantly increase that. But that's going to be it for today's episode. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to hit that like button for me. I really do appreciate that. And if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you all next time.